Okay, so yesterday we discussed about how to sense that voltage signal waveform and how to design that signal conditioning circuit to be get interface with the microcontroller, right? Similar to that of voltage signal, we will now try. Am I audible? I think there is network issue again. Huh?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Issue. So yesterday we discussed about how to implement that signal conditioning circuit to sense the voltage waveform by using that zero crossing detector, right now. So at this stage, you might have now familiar with exactly what is mean by signal conditioning circuit, right? So signal conditioning circuit, this is not a single or unique circuit. So many circuits combinedly, that group is known as a signal conditioning circuit. For example, like a comparator or zero crossing detector, or even we can call that Christian rectifier as a signal conditioning. Okay. Now, similar to that of voltage sensing, today we will try to sense the current signal. Okay. Yesterday already I told that current signal we will going on to sense by using the current transformer. How that current transformer works, that during our prerequisite I already explained, but shortly again we will want to show you what is exactly that current transformer and how it works. Okay. I will remove this previous ZCD. So in current transformer, there is only one single coil. If you can recall, I already explained it. There is one bobbin, somewhat like this. A circular bobbin is there, on which a conductive wire or a copper wire it is wounded, right? Number of turns are there, so that copper wire which is wounded on this bobbin, which is acting as a secondary, okay? Or we can call this one as secondary coil of that CT. CT, that is nothing but current transformer, okay? And the conductor which is passed through that bobbin, like this, we can show it like this. That conductor itself acts as a primary. Is it okay? See, this is the, we can say the simple construction about that CT, that is current transformer. Okay. So see, whenever the load is connected, any AC load is connected to this power line, which is itself acting as a primary to this CT, current flows through that conductor. Right now, that is AC current, RMS current. Here we are connecting that load, which is nothing but what? Our motor, right now. Yesterday we defined that motor will be going to consume the current I, suppose 2 ampere. So this I, it will be equals to 2 ampere consumed by that motor, right? Now, these current transformers are available in the market with the various ratings. For example, like the ratings are given like this. We can say 1:1, 10:1, 100:1, etc. For example, suppose that transformer is 10:1. Means what? When when 10 amperes of current will go on to flow through this conductor, 1 ampere of current will get induced in the secondary coil. But if 1:1 means what? When 1 ampere of current will go on to flow through this conductor, the same that is 1 ampere current, it will be going to induce in the secondary coil. And same for 100:1. That means 100 ampere through the conductor, that is nothing but primary itself is acting as a primary, and by that 1 ampere will be going to induce in the secondary coil. So this is the basic working principle of that current transformer. So is it okay? There are again two terminals of that secondary, starting terminal and end terminal, right? Is it okay about CT?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We will consider that CT at 10:1. That means when 10 ampere of current will go on to flow through the conductor, suppose, then 1 ampere will go on to induce in the secondary coil, right? But yesterday we already defined the current flowing or current consumed by the motor, it will be of 2 ampere. That means the same current will go on to flow from the main supply towards the load, that is nothing but motor. Okay. So the question is, if that selected CT current transformer is of 10:1, how much will be the I secondary? First of all, I will define here I primary, that is equals to 2 ampere. Therefore, I secondary will be equals to
20.
20 what? Ampere?
Yes.
20 ampere.
0.2 ampere.
0.2 ampere means it will be 200 milli.
Yes.
It will be of 200 milliampere. Remember, is it okay? Now see, this current that is 200 milliampere, how it is to be get processed, or what will be the nature of this 200 milliampere? Before processing, we will discuss on that. What will be the nature of that current? Will it be DC current or AC current?
AC.
Yes, it will be AC current. Very nice. So suppose this I is nothing but, we will call it now, this one as a 200 milliampere, right? I will show it over here. This is 200 milliampere RMS current. Okay, with somewhat phase shift, right? Now, how this current should get processed? By using the signal conditioning circuit. Is it possible to apply that current directly over any signal conditioning circuit? No, it is somewhat complicated. So instead of that, remember that CT comes with somewhat low resistance across its secondary terminal. Low resistance, okay? That means there is a resistor connected across the secondary coil as shown, and expected that resistance it should be as small as possible, because this coil itself is acting as a current source, but it is not that much strong current source right now. So to have the flow of current through that resistor, the value of this resistor it should be as low as possible. Here we will go on to consider this resistor of 1 ohm only, which is connected externally across the terminals of that secondary coil. Is it okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now the question is, how much will be the AC voltage drop across this externally connected 1 ohm resistor? How much it will be? I require the voltage drop across this externally connected resistor. If I connect a DMM across this 1 ohm, and the DMM is placed to AC measurement, AC voltage measurement, how much it will read? So simple question. Current flowing through that 1 ohm, that is 200 milli, right? The resistance of that resistor is 1 ohm. So how much will be the drop? V equals to IR. Right now. So voltage across secondary now, we can say, that will be equals to 200 millivolt. Agree?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Nature of this 200 millivolt, will it be AC or DC? It
AC.
will be AC voltage because the source for that drop, that is nothing but current, it is itself RMS current 200 milli right now. And that's why whatever drop will be going to occur across that 1 ohm will be AC drop of 200 millivolt RMS right now. Now, how much will be the peak voltage? If I want to show this AC drop across that 1 ohm resistor in terms of peak, how much it will be? Calculate it. That formula you know. Vrms equals to Vm by root 2. So Vm equals to Vrms is 200 milli. 200 milli into root 2.
282.8.
Millivolt. 282.8.
Yes.
So we'll call it as 283 millivolts. We will round figure it to 200 millivolt peak, right? Or we can say it will be 0.3 volt peak approximately, right now. Actually, it will be 0.283 volts. So approximately it will be how much? 0.3 volt peak. Yes? Are you agree?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Purposely, I written it in terms of volts instead of millivolts. Now see, this is our AC available, peak AC available voltage signal, right? We have to detect the phase shift between that voltage signal and current signal to 0. Right now, the time difference, we will go on to calculate the time difference between these two pulses. Yesterday, we already done everything with the pulse generated by voltage signal. Today, we have to generate the pulse by current signal. That means this second pulse, today, we have to obtain. So what you will do? AC available voltage is shown. That is of 0.3 volt peak. Fast. So simple. Everything is already we work out. Only you have to revise. AC available voltage is of 0.3 volts peak. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
See, even if blackboard is not visible because of network issues, what are the things I am asking that is related to your basic fundamentals? It is already covered, right? So the AC available voltage is of 0.3 volts peak. My question is, next, what you will do? Because we have to detect the pulse generated by you. So see, today we have to generate the pulse at zero crossing by the current signal. How to process that current signal? Already I shown on blackboard. It is visible now. See, the AC voltage signal will be of 0.3 volts peak. My question is, how you will going on to process it? Give me the options.
Sir, first we need to amplify it.
Why? Why there is need to amplify?
सर कारण खूप कमी आहे ना 0.3.
No option is there. Another option. See, to design and develop amplifier circuit is somewhat complicated. So try for another option. Okay, its amplitude is somewhat less. Its amplitude is somewhat less. How it will go on to affect because of less amplitude, or which circuitry cannot process such type of low amplitude signal? Yes, Himanshu, I think you are trying to give the answer.
No, sir, by using step-up transformer.
Okay, by using step-up transformer, NEL. Okay, why you are using step-up transformer first of all? Just let me know. To amplify this AC voltage. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Why you are trying to amplify this AC voltage? Next step, what you will going to do after amplification?
Compare it with zero crossing detect, zero voltage or reference voltage.
Yesterday, how we compare it? Are we compare it directly with somewhat reference voltage?
No.
What we done?
First, we have to convert it to DC. Means rectify it.
Yes, we converted to pulsating DC right now. We
So we
converted
can use
DC.
precision rectifier for that small voltage.
Yes, I am expecting the same answer. No need to amplify. If the signal is of low amplitude, we have one signal conditioning circuitry that can process as per our requirement, and that is nothing but AC to DC converter. And that signal conditioning circuitry is precision rectifier. Right? So that full wave precision rectifier, yesterday already we implemented. Right now, I shown that precision rectifier from my end, as well as I clarified how that precision rectifier circuit, or why that rectifier circuit is known as a precision rectifier, because that applied input signal was only of 0.5 volts peak. Is it? And precision rectifier can rectify the signal of minimum how much amplitude?
35 microvolts.
3.5 microvolts.
Yeah, 3.5, sorry.
Yes, it was 3.5 microvolts. So this is the minimum input requirement of our precision rectifier. And how much we have? As compared to that minimum requirement, that is 3.5 micro, we have 283 millivolts. So sufficiently large signal is available if we think for precision rectifier. Am I right?
Yes.
So no need to amplify this AC signal of 0.3 volts peak or 283 millivolts peak. So here we will finalize, we will go for the precision rectifier. Apply this 0.3 volt peak signal to the precision rectifier. It will go on to rectify it, and the converted signal, that is rectified signal, will look somewhat like this. At this stage, I will go on to keep the amplitude same, that is 0.3 volts peak. Agree? Will it be possible by yourself to convert 0.3 volt peak signal to pulsating DC of the same amplitude, that is 0.3 volt peak? Will it be possible by using precision rectifier by yourself?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
That circuit diagram is already shared with you yesterday, right now. I share my screen. Small mistake was there. And that yesterday we rectified. Okay. So we can obtain such type of peak 0.3 volt pulsating DC by using precision rectifier. So at this stage, note down at your end, after the secondary of our CT, that is current transformer, we will go on to obtain the AC voltage by using a very small resistor, 1 ohm. Later on, we will going on to convert that RMS voltage or AC voltage into the pulsating DC of the same amplitude by using precision rectifier. Note down it at your end. Done. Now about this 1 ohm resistor. That 1 ohm may be available in SMD form, then quarter watt, half watt, 1 watt, 10 watt, wire wound, as well as we can say in rheostat. All these resistors suppose is of 1 ohm. Which one you will select? 1 ohm available in SMD, the same, that is 1 ohm in quarter watt, half watt, 1 watt, 5 watt, 10 watt, etc., etc. Wire wound, then rheostat. So all these are of 1 ohm value. Which one you will select? How you will calculate it?
So it
Selection
depends
of
on the power.
dissipation. Yes, very nice. So calculate the power dissipation across this resistor, how much it will be, and then finalize for which resistor we should go. Power dissipation is I square R. I, you know, that is 200 milli. We will calculate that dissipated power in RMS. No issue. So can take that RMS value as it is. That is 200 milli square into 1. Or even you can calculate in terms of peak also, maximum power dissipation or peak power dissipation by taking that value of I in terms of its peak value instead of RMS. Anyone, you can calculate.
So it's 40 milliwatts for RMS.
Okay, 40 milliwatt, right now? 40 milliwatt, it will be 40. Okay.
Yes.
So here we will finalize, we can go for somewhat higher wattage, that is quarter watt, 1 ohm, no issue. That is available in very small size, so we can prefer it. No issue about that quarter watt. Is it okay? That is 250 milliwatt. Okay. Now, after rectification by using precision rectifier, again we have to generate the pulse at zero crossing. That means that pulse it should get generated over here. Again of the same width as that of yesterday, we generated, I think it was of 1 millisecond. Is it okay? You have to use zero crossing detector, ZCD. Right now. But there will be a small difference between the yesterday's our zero crossing detector and the ZCD used with this input signal. What will be the difference? Can anyone ZCD use for sensing the voltage signal? Our yesterday discussion, and ZCD use for our today's current sensing purpose. Be fast. See, yesterday what we done after rectifier, we preferred one voltage divider, right? Later on, we connected that op-amp through one series resistor to the node of that voltage divider, and that pulsating DC, which is of 5 volt peak, we compared with just 0.7 volt reference. Now, our today's peak voltage is how much? Just 0.3 volt peak. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
So no need of voltage divider. We can directly apply it. It is very, very small as compared to the differential voltage of our op-amp. It is almost plus minus VCC, that VID, input differential voltage, right now. Second thing is what? Can we use the same reference voltage in this case also? Think on it. My question is, can we prefer the same reference voltage that is generated by using diode yesterday? Can we keep that part as it is? Or there should be somewhat change? Now blackboard is also properly visible. Everything is okay, and I will expect the answer from your side. See, our yesterday's implementation part, I will again repeat. After that rectifier, conventional rectifier, we prefer voltage divider to step down that pulsating DC, somewhat, I think it was 7 volt peak something, and we step down it to 5 volt peak, right now, to minimize the differential voltage of the op-amp, input differential voltage of that op-amp. That's why we prefer that voltage divider, right now. For our today's signal, it is not required or not necessary to step down that pulsating DC because its amplitude itself is very small, just 0.3 volt peak. So this signal we will going to apply to the inverting terminal of the op-amp as it is. That circuit diagram will somewhat as it is. But my question is that reference voltage which we preferred to the non-inverting terminal, which was generated by using that series diode, series resistor and one diode, which is powered by plus VCC directly. Can we use that reference voltage as it is over here?
No.
Why no?
Sir, as it is 0.3, this will directly generate the 0 as a comparator output.
Yes, we can't compare because if our reference voltage is 0.7, that will be above this level, right? Now it will be like this. See, I will just show that diagram. As no one was giving the answer immediately, I have to show it. I will go on to use. I will call it as V in. That my V in is available at the inverting terminal of op-amp. Second, suppose I prefer the same circuitry which is used in our previous design, that is by using series resistor and one diode like this. And if we powered it as it is by using plus VCC, so here my question is, will it going on to produce the output? No, because see this V reference, it will be of 0.7 volts, and this is nothing but our V in. So that 0.7 volt will be over here. Is it? Yes or no? So the output of, even if that input signal is available or not available, see this reference voltage, it is always greater than the peak value. That means the output of op-amp will remain always plus Vsat. That means output will remain always 5 volts. Agree? So instead of generating these pulses, what will be the output of our signal conditioning circuit? It will be constant 5 volts. Yes or no? Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now the question is, what we should do? Don't disturb this being. Keep it as it is. Don't amplify it. Am I audible? Okay.
Yes, sir.
So what you will do? Think on it. Yesterday, during our practical, we already done it. Only I increase the reference voltage. Instead of increasing the reference voltage, is it possible to decrease the reference voltage greater than 0.3? Less than 0.3?
Yes, sir.
Suppose my required V reference is 0.05 volts. Okay? 0.05 volts. That means I will go on to overlap it over here. Is it visible? It is slightly above the x-axis. This amplitude is of 0.05 volt of V reference. So what you have to do? Remove this diode now and connect one potentiometer. I will suggest here to use the potentiometer. What should be the value of that potentiometer? That we will see if this RS is of 10 kilo ohm and how much is the value of this reference voltage. It should be 0.05 volts. Is it possible? The resistance offered by this potentiometer should be equals to how much? Calculate it. So that this voltage divider will go on to produce the reference voltage as 0.05 volt. Just let me know the answer from your side. First, .05 equals to VCC, that is nothing but 12 volt, into that R divided by R plus 10K. Purposely I taken that RS as a 10 kilo ohm. If the calculated value is less than 1 ohm,
41.8.
how much?
41.84 ohm.
41.8 ohm, na?
Yes, sir.
So it is approximately 42 ohms. I will call it as simply 42 ohms, suppose, right? So which potentiometer you will prefer? Use here 100 ohm pot. Already I told a simple way how to set this reference voltage. What you will do, connect this RS of 10 kilo ohm directly to plus VCC. Don't mind about its, we can say, tolerance and all that. Use here this R of 100 ohm potentiometer, right, as shown. Connect it to 10K and power it by plus VCC of 12 volts, right. Connect one DMM across this potentiometer, that means over here, voltmeter, DC voltmeter, that is our DMM. Move the wiper of that potentiometer in such a way that DMM will going on to read voltage on it at 0.05. Will it be possible? Yes. Whenever that potentiometer value will be somewhat closer to your calculated value, the DMM will go on to measure it at 0.05. And what is the purpose? Our purpose is same. to set the reference voltage at 0.05 volt. That's all. Agree?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Once you will set the voltage drop across that potentiometer as our required one, that is 0.05 volt, just lock that potentiometer. That means later on nobody should disturb it. Otherwise, if reference voltage gets disturbed, everything will get disturbed. Is it right? And later on, by using now that zero crossing detector, you can easily obtain the pulses as per our requirement. Right? That means when the input signal will be greater than 0.05, when this Vin will be greater than 0.05, the output of our signal conditioning circuit will be minus Vsat, and hence the net output voltage will be 0. When Vin is equals to V reference, that is 0.05, the differential voltage will become 0, output of our signal conditioning circuit will become 0, and later on, when input will be less than 0.05, then okay. So see, when that Vin, that is pulsating DC, will be less than 0.05, the output of our signal conditioning circuit will be logic high, that is plus 5 volt. Right? Now the question is, can we obtain the pulse width of the same size of our previous voltage sensing, just like voltage sensing? Are you getting my question? See, by using zero crossing detector, first of all, can we obtain such type of pulse? Just let me know first this one.
Yes, sir.
Yes, we can obtain.
Yes, sir.
Right now, same as that of our yesterday's implementation part. My question is, the width of this obtained pulse, will it be same as that of ZCD used for the voltage sensing purpose, or it will be different?
So different.
Different. Why it will be different? Or before going to that, it will be different, it's okay. It will be small or large pulse width.
Small.
It will be very, very small, because that signal, input signal, from its value 0.05 to 0, it will reach immediately, right now. While in our previous, it goes from 0.7 to 0. There was a sufficient time, and that's why we got that pulse width of 1 millisecond. Right? Are you agree with this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And that's why yesterday, again, I put one question: how much should be the minimum pulse width to be get applied to our microcontroller so that it can sense it as a logic high? Are you got that answer?
2 machine cycles.
How much?
2.
I am not getting your voice.
2 machine cycles.
2?
Machine cycles.
No. I require it in terms of seconds. Don't give in terms of how many cycles. One cycle is of how much time period, I don't know it. Here, our discussion is in terms of seconds. Yesterday, we determined that pulse width of 1 millisecond, right now. So today's pulse width, that we will see later on how much it will be of width, but the microcontroller will be able to sense it as a logic high, but the requirement is what? that pulse width should remain high up to how much time period? Okay. If you do not found that answer, just try to obtain it in the next lecture, and during our practical session, we will try to implement the same, right? Again, one more important thing, while implementation of this circuitry will require high precision op-amp. High precision op-amp means its slew rate, it should be sufficiently large, because as already you told, the pulse width size will be different, that op-amp should sense it between 0.05 to 0. Its output, it should get, the transition, it should get occurred. Otherwise, by using conventional op-amp, I think it might not be possible. You try it at your end. If the slew rate offered by our conventional op-amp is sufficiently large, then it will be possible. But if that slew rate is poor, then such type of signal will not be possible, right? So you just try at your end, and the conclusion we will see during the next lecture as well as our practical session, right? So I think our time is also over, so we'll stop, and the discussion will continue from the next lecture.